Are we ready, Will?
Oz, we can go whenever you want. If you would like to wait a couple more moments to see if Abraham or any other committee members join. But right now, it's just you and Barry and Marco. Oh, and Barbara Rudder. As we wait, Kaz, you want me to just go ahead and give the...
Yeah, give the...
All right, well, welcome everyone. If this is your first time joining us, you'll notice that you are muted and you're gonna remain muted throughout the meeting, except for whenever the committee chair calls on you. And we'll have each applicant, present their application, and we'll have you raise your hand whenever we get to your item on the agenda. You can do that by going to the reactions icon at the bottom of your screen and pressing the raise hand button there. Do not press the wave or the thumbs up; those will disappear. If you press the raise hand button a second time, your hand will go back down. So only press it once. If you're calling in from the phone, it's *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. Be on the lookout for a prompt asking you to confirm unmuting once the chair calls on you. The chat is available for technical support only to help with the Zoom software. It is not to ask questions of any of the committee members or the participants. They will never see those chats. If you're using an older version of Zoom, you'll need to go to the participants section where you'll find the raise hand feature there. And finally, please do not raise your actual hand or wave at your screen because we may not be able to see you. You can always chat me if you have any questions. I'm just going to make sure we don't have Abraham. Well, it looks like Kaz, you are the chair of this meeting.
The stand-in. Well, welcome to the July Street Life, let me get this, to the July Street Life Committee meeting. All recommendations tonight will go to the full board for a final approval. Anyway, let's get started. This is the agenda. 1A is Great Performance / Artists Waitresses Inc., DBA City Parks Foundation, Summer Stage. Is the applicant present, or their lawyer or rep or whoever?
If you're going to be speaking on this application, please use the raise hand feature right now, and I'll go ahead and unmute you.
Do we see anybody?
I do know that one of their representatives is here. Julie, do you know who all is speaking?
Yes, we have, can you hear me?
I can, yeah, thank you.
Okay, great. Sorry, yes, we have Mindy Birnbaum and Jennifer Elliott, who are both here and I think are maybe trying to unmute, and you should have a presentation deck.
Yes, I have that.
Great, thank you. Are
Mindy,
you
can...
Problem?
Yeah, Mindy can unmute whenever she's ready. Like I said, be on the lookout for a prompt asking you to confirm unmuting. There you go. And I'll get the slideshow up.
We also have Josh Satterwhite on our group.
Let me get him unmuted. Josh, what was his last name?
Satterwhite. I'm just looking. I don't know if I...
Oh, here we go. Josh, okay. There you go. You can unmute whenever you're ready. And then I'll get the PowerPoint up for you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, when your turn comes up, if you can raise your hand, your virtual hand, that way Will can find you, so we'll save time.
You guys should be able to see the presentation at this point.
Yep.
Great, go for it.
Great, thank you. And I'm sorry, I don't think Mindy is able to unmute, but that's okay. So hi, I'm Jennifer Elliott, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships with Great Performances, and with me is my colleague Josh Satterwhite. and he is the Vice President of Operations. So we just wanted to, we're doing the concessions at Summer Stage. We also have Larry and Josie with us from the venue in case there are any venue-related questions. So we just wanted to start with a little bit about great performances, and Josh is going to talk about our actual on-site operations at Summer Stage, and then we can jump into any questions. So if you could advance the slide. Right, so this is a little bit about us. We are a, I'm sorry. So just to start, we're really delighted to be operating the concessions at Summer Stage this year. We're a New York City women-owned company. We've been operating for over 40 years in New York City. We cater events across the city and operate a number of cafes and concessions in cultural institutions, mostly also New York City and Brooklyn. We have really long-standing relationships with all of our communities that we're in. Our commissary is located in Mott Haven in the Bronx. And we really operate around these communities as partners. We have deeply actively committed to hiring locally. We source a lot of our own products locally. Sustainability is very important to us, so much so that we own our own organic farm in Kinderhook, New York. If you go to the next slide, please. These are just an example of some of the cafes that we operate. We're in good standing with all of the community boards that we operate in. We've been at most of these locations, I mean, at minimum 5 years, but some for 10 to 15 plus years. And then the next slide. As I mentioned, sustainability is really important to us. It has been from the beginning. We use all compostable front of house disposables. As I mentioned, we own our own farm. We compost not only at our kitchen, but also at all of our independent locations when possible. We really engage also from workforce development. We have very strong DEI practices, so much so even more now in the last year. But we're really engaging with the local community. That's very important to us. And the next slide, please. So Josh now is going to talk a little bit about our actual on-site operations at Summer Stage.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. So we have 3 points of service, 2 of which are beverage only, and 1 of which also serves food. Everything that we serve is pre-packaged, either cans or compostable packaging. People can order directly from the counter, or they can place orders on their phone to be picked up from a separate area. All of our staff is checking IDs and wristbanding guests to make sure they're of age. We have 23 more shows planned through October 7th. There may be more shows. Generally, we'll be serving for an hour and a half prior to the start of the show, and then the last call will take place 30 minutes prior to the end. And there is security in our staff to make sure that no guests leave the premises with alcoholic beverages. Thanks.
And that's it. Mindy's now unmuted. So you can say hello.
Hello, I'm Mindy, the General Counsel of Great Performances. It's nice to meet you all. We're also the operators at the Asia Society, which is also in your community board and have been there for a minimum of 15 years. So it's nice to meet you all.
Okay. Is this a year round at Summer Stage or not?
It's seasonal. So we're applying for a seasonal wine and beer license.
Okay. And when will that run from and to?
I believe the license, the season for the liquor licenses is from March to November.
3 to 11. But you don't have your license at the moment, so you're not planning to operate this year?
Well, actually, we had applied for a waiver and our license was just approved actually this week. So we should have it tomorrow or the next day. Wow,
that was quick. I thought it normally, okay. So this one, the food is what, 50-50?
Well, we don't have much experience to be able to give you exact numbers. We have an estimate of 70-30 right now, but we really would need to operate a few concessions to be able to give you an exact or more precise number.
Okay. Okay, anybody from the public have any questions? Anybody from the board office, from the members? Anybody questions? Barry?
As I'll just remind everybody that if you have a question for this applicant, you can go to the reactions button at the bottom of your screen and press the raise hand feature there. Or if you're calling in from the phone, it's *9. Go ahead, Barry.
There you go. Thank you. I'd like to approve the application.
Do we have a second? Do we have a second? If not, I will second that. If there's anybody in favor or opposed to this application, please raise your hand. Otherwise, it will go down as unanimous. Seeing none, this will go down as unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next? Portable Provisions LLC, DBA Portable Provisions, 220 East 91st. Is the applicant here? Robert. Can we unmute?
Robert, just go ahead and unmute. Look for the button on your screen.
Muted, hopefully.
And we also have Kat Alexander. Is he or she on the?
She can unmute as well.
Okay. Hi. So you want to tell us a bit about this?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. My name is Bob Callahan from Michael Kelly, Inc. With me is Catherine Alexander, who is the owner of the location. This is an on-premise liquor license application for Portable Provisions LLC, doing business as Portable Provisions. We're located at 220 East 81st Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues. Normally, I come in front of you with restaurants, but this is actually a catering business that caters to off-site events and some on-site events. Kat's been in this location running this business for about 3 years. So basically what we want to do is get an on-premise liquor license to complement the catered events. We have 9 tables and 48 seats at the location, a small bar containing 8 seats, and a small courtyard, which contains 2 tables and 12 seats. Our hours of operation, most of the catered events happen during lunch and dinner time hours. There are a couple of ones that run a little later in the evening. Kat has told me that every once in a while, one may go to midnight, but it's not very often. So the hours we had down were till 10:30 and 11. If it's possible, we may change that to midnight, but it won't get used very often. There'll be background music, at these events. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just turn it over to Kat. She's going to tell you a little more about the catering operation and what kind of events that they do cater. Kat.
Hi. So I'm Kat Alexander, the owner of Portable Provisions. We are a women and minority-owned business based in New York. I'm a third-generation New Yorker, and I'm a current resident of the Upper East Side. I grew up in Stuyvesant Town, and I have a farm-to-table catering company. We do primarily corporate events and corporate prepared meals for companies all over New York, including Amazon, Salesforce, McKinsey, Vontobel. We have a bit of a it's a farm to table, but we have a focus on sustainability, seasonality, and regional cuisine. And I have a chef partner who is a Michelin star trained chef who's worked in several countries and has a really incredible palate. And so we have a small organic garden on our rooftop, and we prepare everything from scratch and use as many eco-friendly disposables as possible. And we mostly service companies in New York City, and we do a lot of on-site catering for those events. And we are in the final stages of renovating the former Alice's Teacup townhouse, and we would love for it to be part of the community and be able to open it up for events for people in the area, as well as some of our private clients that have been looking for a way to do safe private events that are mostly for anything from birthday dinners or anniversary parties or first birthdays, as well as gatherings for some of our corporate executives that want to have a bit of privacy and be able to engage socially without other people present. And it's just something that we've been working on steadily, and we have a 15-year lease. We hope to be part of the community for quite some time. My husband and I live a few blocks away with our son. My husband works at the Mark Hotel and he does our HR for us. So we really want this to be a community hub.
Okay. Anybody from the public have any questions? If so, raise your virtual hand so Will can David Miller and John.
We've got Judy Schneider, then David Miller, then John.
Sorry, yes, Judy's private. Judy's public, sorry.
Yes, you mentioned Alice, excuse me. You mentioned Alice's Teacup. Is that the one on 64th Street? And which location are you talking about?
This is
81st, Judy.
No, but she mentioned also redoing Alice's Teacup. That's a different establishment. And I'm asking which Alice's Teacup? Is that the one on 64th Street?
No, it's this location.
Oh, this location is
81st.
Alice's.
Yes.
Sorry, didn't understand. Thank you.
You're welcome.
David Miller.
Yeah, I mean, if there's ever a liquor license that should not be approved, it's this one. First of all, they've been serving liquor at these events for the last 6 or 8 weeks. So I'm not sure what the license is for, since they don't seem to feel they need a license for it. But also, they're talking about opening a nightlife establishment in the middle of a residential block on the Upper East Side, surrounded by apartment buildings where people are living. So it's not something that had a precedent in Alice's Teacup. Alice's Teacup did not use the outdoor space, and I don't think they had a liquor license. They were not open at nights. So you're talking about having a place now that could potentially be open every night. And yes, they've gone to midnight, and yes, they've gone past midnight already with very crowded, conditions in an outdoor space in the back, just preventing anybody from sleeping or enjoying their life in any way. And I don't know what the rules are or whether this is a typical kind of approval, but to me, it's just horrible because I live next to this thing. It's like a nightmare, really. And so they're already doing it, and they don't seem to have any fire approvals. There are no signs up. They're using this enclosed outdoor space with many people packed into it. So those are the conditions that would be imposed on the people who live here if you approve this. Or I guess they would just keep doing it illegally while they're doing it now, unless somebody stops it. I mean, I have photographs, I have a history of complaints to 311. So, I'm hoping somebody's going to think about this place. That's like
the courtyard, that's in the back and open to the sky?
Yes, it is. It's an enclosed space, and it's right outside our window. So I'm like the person most affected. But our building goes up. There's a residential building on the other side. The residential building's on 80th Street. So you're talking about basically having an outdoor bar in the back of the establishment, right next to where I would say a total of dozens of people are trying to live and sleep. That's what is being proposed here.
Okay, thank you. Marco?
Oh, thank you. I think we have a serious problem right here. Mr. Callahan, you know very well this catering facility, impossible to obtain on an RAB. So it's completely residential. Yes, you have a CO, but the CO is just only, let me read exactly what it said, the CO is for 6 people only, not for the number of people that the applicant is mentioning. Let me read, it said, yes, it's 2 stores and 6 people, that's it. So you actually, you don't have a license to operate as a catering facility. If you tell me that you're going to operate as a restaurant, okay, it's fine. But if you want to operate on the rear yard, Mr. Miller clearly explained what is the reason. And the COO doesn't explain that they should have the open space, which is the rear yard, is not mentioned in the CO. So therefore, you cannot obtain the use of the rear yard. So everything is wrong in this application. The neighbor clearly mentioned very well, and I think there are plenty of spaces on the avenue that you can use as a commercial space or as a restaurant, but in this case, catering facility in our community is wrong, completely wrong. Not because it's in RAB, it's in the mid block. Impossible to do that. That will be outrageous, this application. And Mr. Callahan, you know very well the regulations. I don't need to explain to you anything because you have a lot of experience and you come in with this application. That's very offensive, okay?
Any replies?
May I speak?
Yeah.
Good. Start, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. No, first of all, we've been steadily throughout the pandemic, we started a Food for Impact initiative in order to provide meals at no cost to first responders and medical workers. We've donated over 7,000 meals, and that was sponsored by my corporate clients in order to be able to support people within our community. I've lived in New York my entire life. And as far as the person that lives next door that had issues, first of all, we've only had a few friend and family gatherings. We had Weill Cornell ask if there was a way for them to have a gathering to celebrate the fact that their entire MICU unit had been indoors working through the pandemic without having any ability to spend time together and to see their families and to enjoy themselves. And we offered them to come and be our guests in the space because it was something that we wanted to celebrate with them because we supported them throughout the pandemic and they wanted to give something back as a thank you. And we have never had any interactions, never had any discussions whatsoever with anybody with any issues in the neighborhood. I live in the neighborhood. We have every intention of being respectful. We do the majority of our events are off-sites in terms of catering meals and doing deliveries. We have no intention or expectation whatsoever of being like a bar. It's not even something that is in our business model or our desire. It's purely primarily catering that we do, food that we prepare in our kitchen, but it's not our intention to be. I'm really concerned that your belief and expectation of what the business is. We're not a restaurant that's open to the public where people could come in and buy alcohol. That's not our business model whatsoever. We have over 150 corporate clients, and the majority of them are looking to do small private lunches and meetings during the day. And if there is any issue that anyone in the community would have, I would want them to speak with us about it and for us to have the opportunity to correct it. I'm hearing that there are 311 calls. We've never once had a single note or complaint or comment made whatsoever. Even with the courtyard, we've done everything that we can in terms of the renovation to be respectful to people in the community. So it really is, it's genuinely upsetting that anybody would think that a business that we're trying to create to be a benefit to this neighborhood, something that is a support to people in the community, would be problematic. And it's something that, I'm truly shocked by, and I'm dismayed, because if there was a way for us to address it and confront it, I would want to do that, especially before it's being aired in this way, where I've never even had a conversation with these people before, and they're telling me that it's a nightmare.
But the point is you are going to operate illegally, unlawfully. That is the problem.
That's not our intention, and no.
But that's clearly what you are saying. You're saying that you're going to do a catering. You're saying that, and I accept what you're saying. You're saying that you're going to do something unlawful. You see, doesn't allow to do that.
You're saying that we have only the capacity, the CO for 6 people. That CO is from the 1960s. That was when it was bisected and it was 2 independent stores. One of them was a printmaking studio and one was an antique shop. Even when I discussed it with our architect, they said that they had never reapplied for a new C of O when it was Alice's Teacup, but that their capacity was much, much greater. And so even when I discussed it with the architect, we have renovated and opened up the space. It's significantly larger than it even was before, but it was
How
2
many
stores.
people you operate? How many people you're planning to
Listen,
operate?
we're in the process of applying for a letter of no objection, so
Impossible.
the architect will.
Impossible. You know that. You cannot obtain commercial use on a residential district, and that is I accept the CO of 1964. If you don't want to accept the CO, so you shouldn't even be there, because this place, the mid block is completely residential, RAB, period. And you want to operate because you want to give, you has been given some food, and that's is the right to do something unlawful. That is wrong.
It's not entirely
right here.
Hold it. Wait a minute. One at a time, please.
We're discussing only the legality of this this venue, and this venue you were saying is catering, and the CO say commercial, which is use number 6. And then basically you are operating clearly right here unlawfully. And Mr. Miller, that is what his complaint is all about. And that's the mid block we try to protect. That is, we fighting with one of the big applications in our community. They want to change this, the RAB to a commercial use, and we are fighting strongly. And the standing of the community was against this project because it's a commercial use. You are in group 9 or 13. It's impossible that you can obtain a letter of no objection, because this you have been granted already in a way that nobody can obtain a legal CO in the mid block for commercial use. And now you want to even change to group 9. So either you has been operating erroneously, or you has been misleading from the professional that going around you. And those professionals should advise you properly. This is the issue right here.
Well, it seems that we have an issue here with the legality and the mid-block and the zoning. What's the possibility of you going to the proper channels and getting all the certifications and everything and coming back to us when you do have it? You know, is that okay? Or, I mean, we can't force you to do what we want. It's up to you. But we can suggest that you lay it over, go through the procedure, give us the documentation that we're looking for, and then come back to us next month.
All right.
So basically what you're looking for is
the CO or letter of no objection, or the certification, the approval from the city that it can be operated as a catering location. Right. Now, with the catering, this would only be on site, or you would deliver it?
No, most of the events are off-site.
And you prepare there, but I thought delivery of alcohol is stopping.
We would not, the prepared foods that we would be making. We do not deliver alcohol.
Okay.
No, we would not be delivering alcohol. And the majority of our clients have their own bar services. And for us, we're primarily the food catering. The alcohol would be for us to be able to provide it to our guests that are having events on site.
But if the C of O only states 6, that's a very small amount.
The C of O, I mean, this is something that I had also been confused by, because Alice's Teacup's capacity was far greater. And when I discussed it with my architect, he said that it was because as long as it was below 70, a capacity of 74 people, and because of the fact that that it was still within compliance.
No.
And so but I knew that we needed to apply for a letter of no objection, because even the structure of the space has dramatically changed since that original C of O. It was 2 separate spaces. It was 2 retail stores, and it's been a restaurant, it's been a tea room. I mean, it's a completely different facility, and we've even further opened it up. We've removed the front vestibule, we've removed the platform, we've renovated the bathroom, we've added additional lines and sinks, we've run new gas lines just to make everything compliant and safe, which is extremely important to us. And that's why obviously it's very important for us to do whatever we do need to do in order for this to be passed, because it is extremely important, and we're not trying to do anything illegally. We don't want to do anything.
So all the renovations and everything, you've gone through the permitting and everything else,
Yes,
and
correct.
nobody has ever questioned anything?
We've had no issues.
Yeah,
The
capacity of 75 is for a different application. So anything, you still need a CO.
Right, we weren't looking for a capacity beyond 74, no matter what. It would exceed our whatever is comfortable and safe. But it's really mostly indoor daytime events with a few occasional weekend events, and it's really it's important for me to know what I need to do in order to do this properly. So to be blindsided by people that are upset, like we want people to come and have these conversations with us so that we can remedy them in real time. If somebody is bothered by, us having some friends, like my husband and I had a barbecue in the back because it's our space, we live nearby, we don't have a balcony, like we're not doing anything illegally, for us to be able to enjoy this is because it's our second home. It's something that we really genuinely want to be an asset to this community, and we have no intention of being hurtful in any way. And if anybody is bothered by it, I really implore them to come and speak to me face to face and see how I can help and make it some decisions to help correct it.
Okay.
One more thing.
Yeah.
She just mentioned that she has been pulled out the working permits. Mr. Callahan, did the applicant pull out the working permits? I just checked in the Bs, no applications. Did you? It was any application on DOB now?
Well, as you know, I do not do any of the reservations or the permitting.
So
their architect does that. So that's not
wait a minute, both of you. Marco, he is only the SLA lawyer, not the architect.
No, he's
or
the
builder.
Right.
Okay. Correct.
So, no, I'm asking because he knows.
But I only expedite certain things. I don't expedite.
He knows very well the regulations. I'm asking him.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. The other thing is, if I found that there is no legal permits, and she mentioned that it has been doing a lot of work, so it has been doing a lot of illegal work too. So
no, we're in the DOB now system. We have been working with an architect. We have been permitted.
Hold it, everybody. Can we put this off till next month? Provide the documentation for the renovations and the application for the C of O or the letter of no objections. Would that be possible? Because I don't think we can make a decision tonight based on our unknowns. Well, let's go. Barry, you have a question?
No, I have the observation that you made a recommendation. I'm making a motion to table this till following to the next meeting of the Street Life Committee.
Okay, we have David Miller.
He spoke earlier, but
I just wanted to speak to the permitting and the work they're doing. As nearby residents, we got a letter, and they apparently did have a permit to put in a new stove and to renovate a bathroom. That was all that was mentioned. But as the owner mentioned, in fact, they renovated the entire space, going on for weeks, and it's now configured like a bar/nightclub. So they've done far beyond the work that they were approved for.
We did have a permit, and they said that
Hold it, one at a time. Let Mr. Miller finish. Okay, David, finish off. Can we unmute that?
Oh, okay, go ahead. David?
Yes, I mean, basically, I just want to say what we received about what we're allowed to do and what they've actually done. So that's been another quality of life issue, that they've done major renovations of the space, as the owner said, and there was no indication. I don't have the letter in front of me, but it was basically just a small amount of work. They're supposed to take a week, and they did start off and seemingly put in a new stove, but then they've gone on and on and on, and they're still working on the space. And there's no indication that they're allowed to do this. And it's another quality of life issue, is all this construction that's gone on for, I think, like 5 or 6 weeks already. So I guess to speak to the owner's sort of issues, there are rules about doing this. And yeah, I'm going to put in complaints if it seems like they're doing something completely illegal. I mean, I'm astounded that they've been able to get this far, creating what to me is like a nightclub in a residential block. So that's all.
Okay. Can we unmute David Miller?
That is David Miller.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm not sure if, well, my feeling is based on from a couple of the board members that we may not be able to come to a conclusion tonight. What is the possibility, well, as Barry said, we'd table it, but I would like, if possible, to withdraw the application for tonight and come back next month. Is that agreeable?
And what would you require from us next month?
The permits that what work was done and what was applied for. C of O, if you're going to be changing the C of O, or letter of no objection. And what else, Marco?
Second, Marco, go ahead.
Cause I don't think that we can ask the CEO, because I think it will be unfair. It will take probably 1 year or two.
No, that they will be.
The letter of no objection, that probably we would like to know is with an answer. It should come with an answer with the letter of no objection. And DOB, they will answer probably in a month or two. Since on August we stop, maybe they will schedule for September. I think this it has to be reasonable. We cannot put pressure on something that is unable to obtain. Give it a little bit more time is better. So we accommodate as much time as they need.
Okay, is that agreeable, Kat, or are you looking for a vote tonight, or?
No, I'm not looking. I mean, I understand, and we have already been moving forward on receiving a letter of no objection. And obviously, I know that there's a time constraint, but the comments that the resident has been making about construction, there was literally there was a necessity for us to make an emergency repair because of the state that the former residents had left the structure in, that we actually, I mean, I don't want to get emotional about it, but it was extremely life-threatening, and we've had to do emergency repairs at a tremendous expense. And in order to also put in a safe new gas line, because it was underground and there was no way for them to test it. And then we had a line explode, and out of concern for the building, for the fact that this could have been something that escalated, we needed to do an emergency repair and renovation. This is not, and nothing that we've done, we have not been excavating or digging things up. We've literally been ensuring that the structural integrity of the building has been maintained, because we have a close relationship with the building owners that bought this building in the 1960s and are not physically in a state where they can maintain it themselves. So we have been doing it gradually and as safely as possible, and as I can pay for it out of pocket throughout a pandemic. And so I feel like I'm being painted in like a way that's truly shocking, that is not reflective of.
No, I don't think anybody's trying to do that, but I have a concern when you just mentioned that you put in a new gas line and there was no time to test it. I mean, wait a minute. If that is what was done, that is a very serious concern to me.
That's not.
No, these are the city officials. This was the city officials. This was when we were having the inspection done. They wanted to. This was completely. This was mandated.
Can I suggest something? Because can I suggest something? Every time that the owner speaks, she's getting more in trouble. And I don't want that you should be getting more in trouble, because the more that I listen, the more that you are very sincere. And because you are sincere, you are putting many issues that raise many red flags. My advice is stop talking, because it's not in your benefit. One. Two, the other issue is, let's go, the motion was presented, it was second, it's not debatable, and let's stop the cost. And finally, if you want to, and I had to say publicly, if you want to contact me, I know very well, you can contact me. I will free advice without no connection for any part of your job, and I will explain it to you everything in detail. It's just only for your benefit, because I understand you are a business person. You want to do something nice. I respect that. I encourage that, but you should be in the right location, and that will be my recommendation. And I'm sorry to be very strong against you. I'm sorry for that. But I have to protect the quality of life of our neighborhood. Thank you.
So the motion is to table. Should we table it till September, Barry?
Yes.
Okay. So there was a motion, and we cannot make a decision tonight. So this will come before us back next time in September. I'm sorry for the, everything that's gone on tonight, but let's get a few things cleared up before September. Come back with all the paperwork and all the explanations and everything, and we'll hear it then.
We'll come back with everything documented, so you'll be able to follow it.
Thank you.
Kaz, excuse me.
Yes.
Take a vote, please, for the record.
Okay. If the motion is to table till September, if anybody disagrees, votes no, or votes for the no.
Not voting for cause.
Not voting for cause, which I don't think will apply to this. But if anybody disagrees, raise your hand now. Seeing none, it's unanimous that we table it till September.
And cause, I'm going to read the names of the board members who are in attendance.
Yeah.
And this is for both of the two votes.
Yeah.
Barry Schneider, Cause Spagnoletti, Marco Tamayo, Barbara Rudder, Evan Meyerson, and Mrs. Brown.
Okay.
And they were both, that was accurate for both votes.
Okay, and you'll send that to me later on. I'll put it in the minutes. Okay, Barry, I mean, you are the SLA expediter. So as far as architectural questions, whatever was said tonight does not apply to you.
Yes, I understand that. Thank you. I
wish
everybody understood that.
Just for the record.
Thank you.
Okay, what do we have next? Where's the...
We have American Pizza.
American Pizza, 1154 First Avenue, between 63 and 64. Application for liquor, wine, and beer. Is the rep here?
I have a representative name of Robert Garola, if anybody sees that person, but otherwise, if you are representing this application, please use your virtual hand and raise your hand. Click the reactions button. American Pizza Inc. 1154.
Not seeing anybody.
Oh, I see somebody waving. So Matthew Leone, are you the representative? You need to go ahead and click unmute on your screen now that you.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah, my name is Matthew Leone. I'm the representative. I'm the attorney for American Pizza LLC. Robert Garola is the owner. He's actually having a hard time getting on. So I don't know if you want to, he said he didn't receive a link or something. I tried emailing him. I don't know if somebody at the community board can try to email him again, but in any event, I'm ready to go forward, but if you'd like to hear from him, maybe we could we could second call this one and let the next case, the next application go, and then we'll come back. Would that be okay?
That's fine if you want to hold off on that. Okay.
Wait, real quick, Matthew.
Yes.
In the chat, open the chat at the bottom of your screen and chat me his email address, and I'll make sure he has a link right away.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. When you're ready, let us know.
Okay.
Okay, next on the list is Hiramasa Restaurant Venture LLC. Is the app, oh, Michael. Michel?
Go ahead. Yes, Michel. Start video, yes. Hello?
Yes.
Hi, how are you? Sorry. Yes, this is Michel. Actually, not Michael, but it's okay.
Sorry.
Good, good. Yes, so I'm the owner of Hiramasa Restaurant Venture LLC, and not sure what question you have. I can answer.
Well, just tell us what it is, where it is.
Okay. Yes. So Hiramasa Restaurant. It's a upscale omakase sushi bar, very exclusive. We have a chef who comes from a Michelin star restaurant that we hired, and very small restaurant, very focused on food. Early crowd. I own another restaurant in the same block, two other restaurants in the same block between 92nd and 93rd. So this is who we are. And before us used to be a restaurant called Bistro du Nord for over 20 years in the same space. And unfortunately, because of the COVID, they have conducted construction and renovation. They weren't able to open due to financial issues. So I was able to take the space and revive it and open it up. So, planning to open it up.
Okay. You're not open now, are you?
No, not yet. We're looking to open September 1st. This is a goal. Yeah.
Okay. Any John Gansarski?
No.
Can we unmute John?
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Thanks. And thanks for actually getting the last name. That was impressive. Just Michelle, quick question. How many seats will the restaurant have? And is it just one bar or do you have tables as well?
Well, it's actually 2 floors, 2 sushi bars, and we have around 4 to 5 tables based on the conversion. The seating is going to be around 29, I would say, roughly. So it's small, but it's unique, and it's more I don't know how to explain it. So it's small, a better word. It's small. It's a small restaurant, but we're gonna have 2 bars, one on the first floor and one on the second floor.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. And when I say bar, sorry, when I'm saying bar, we're talking sushi bar, not actual drinking bars.
How many drink bars? One?
No, none. It's mostly focused on food, and it's gonna be as all alcohol will be served or serviced by the waiter or waitress into the customer who's sitting on the omakase bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will you be applying for an open cafe area on the street or in the sidewalk, or?
We're going to be utilizing the restaurant, open restaurant space. Just because of the type of cuisine and the type of food we are serving, mostly we're going to be focused, I would say 90% on indoor, and just limited. I will say limited outdoor during dinner, just lunch, I would say. But it's an experience. You have to be sitting on a bar to really enjoy it. So.
Okay. Lo, can we unmute Lo?
Lo, you're unmuted. Go ahead.
Hi, my name, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. My name is Lo Vander Valk, representing Carnegie Hill Neighbors. We don't have a problem with the restaurant as it is applying for the tables it needs and the space it needs. It's converting a former restaurant into a newer restaurant. However, and I've talked to the owner, Michel, about this earlier, we object to the current awning that is in place, and I objected to the owner when the awning was being placed. It is too large, and I do not believe that it complies with the landmarks rules on awnings. And if this is allowed, it will be there for many, many, many years. And so we want to make sure that if it needs a certificate of appropriateness from landmarks for an altered awning or an awning that does not comply with the rules, that they go through those steps. And if they don't, we have a very serious objection that we will pursue all the way through to the end of this application, because this is the only leverage we had. Essentially, Michel told me that he'd spent a lot of money on this and that he didn't want to alter it. Those were his basic reasons. And it seemed that that there was no leverage involved. Yep.
Well, let me correct this, if you don't mind. I'd like to answer that.
Sure.
I own multiple businesses in the block, and I support a lot of employees. And I have one of the few who was supporting Mount Sinai with free meals for over 3 months on a daily basis. We're talking about the awning. First of all, this is not a landmark. We have obtained a landmark plan from landmark, and it's a green zone, and we were told we can put the same awnings that was before. So I'm not sure why no one had an issue for the last 20 years with the existing awnings that was there, and suddenly when we are in and we are kind of trying to revive the block, suddenly my awning becomes a problem versus everybody else is not a problem. So, and honestly, if you pursue it, by all means, go ahead. But I will pursue it on my side. But what we did, there's air conditioning sitting outside the restaurant, 2 units, which is a condenser unit and another unit, and they have to be covered. So just to make sure I protect the customers that are coming inside the restaurant. So it's not only just an awning. There's also a piece of it. It's also a safety. And we have designed it based on the previous awnings that existed there for over 20 years. So,
well, I have a.
Yes, sorry.
Again, this is we know. Go ahead, but I'm not sure why the awning could be the issue here for this application. But go ahead, please.
Yeah, I've submitted a photo that was taken by Google in May of 2019. Okay. That's not 20 years ago. Yeah. And that was before another awning that replaced it. I do agree with that. But yes, that awning is a lot smaller than the current awning you have. And I apologize, that we had a mix up with our files, and I can't produce a photograph right now of the current situation. But I think there is an issue here.
Okay. Well, I have an issue too. Where's the awning that replaced this one that you're showing on the video? You missed that one. That was orange color and larger than mine. So
it was, but they never went into business. It never
I'm sorry,
went
but they had a liquor license. No. I'm sorry. I have to stop you for a second. They had a liquor license. Their liquor license was approved. They were planning to open in March until the pandemic hit and destroyed all of us. So, I wouldn't say I'm flexible. I can discuss that. I'm open for discussion regarding it. But it's again, we took the space, we took the awning, we took everything. I could have bought the business with the liquor license, but I didn't do it for because I was advised not to. So you have to understand there's air conditioning sitting outside. Based on the image that you provided, you can see an opening there in the awning, because you still have to have an air circulation for the condenser unit that's sitting on the outside of the of the space. Again, I'm not trying to we had the discussion, me and you, before, and I'm willing to look into it down the line. That's not a problem.
All right. Well, I would like to have landmarks involved in this discussion, because they are the ones that lay down the rules. And I'm reasonably flexible. But I think what's currently there is not acceptable.
Well, okay. I'm flexible too, but you have to look into how much money is costing me. So you have to look at the business owners that suffered through this pandemic, and not just think about how we can add more expenses to us.
Yeah, but Michel, we have to follow certain rules.
100% correct. I'm with you.
So
I'm with you.
is it possible to get documentation on the legality of the awning from the DOB or from landmarks, or that you can provide us?
I can reach out to our lawyer and, you know, and see what,
Yeah.
but again, this is all money, you know, I understand every small, you know, request costs money, time and money. So
yes.
we're trying to be flexible here, trust me, and, you know, and we've been.
Okay, so if we can get that, but okay, Marco, you had a question?
I would like to propose a motion and then to speak. The motion is to approve. Anybody can second?
With stipulations, without stipulations?
No, let me. I'm going to explain that.
Okay. Okay, I'll second.
I'll second
Okay,
it.
thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Barry.
Okay. I think we have to be fair in this case. I always am 100% in favor of landmarks. My first question is this building a landmark building or not?
No,
No.
It's a green marked.
Okay, it is not, but it is part of the historical district.
Yes, it's correct. It is.
Oh, okay. So it's landmark. Okay. So when is the
but the commercial is not, Marco.
No, but this is no individual landmark. This is part of the historical district. Okay. So my point is very simple. I'm gonna make easier your life. We are going to deal only about the liquor license right here. The other part, law, he knows the rules. He can put a complaint, and landmarks will go over there and they will put a correction of the violation, and then you have to address in that part, because we cannot deal something that is true, is out of the traditional awnings in the district. Yes. But we are not discussing nothing about landmarks right here. We are discussing about right here is the liquor license. And this is why I propose to approve this application. And I strongly recommend, if law is unwilling to complain in landmarks, probably I will willing to do that myself. And then believe me, I don't want it to go in that direction. You should figure it out and fix that problem. But meanwhile, I'm going to strongly support your application for the liquor license. And that's what is in front of us.
Okay.
Thank you. And just to add one more thing, before we did the awning and before we have a restaurant door that's been there for 20 years. And we decided at one point to replace it. And I checked with the landmark and I said, we have a door, a restaurant, a storefront, and it's been there for 20 years. So is the space considered a landmark that falls under the landmark restriction? The letter we received, and we have copies of those, is the commercial space is excluded from any landmark restriction. By all means, if you want to remove the door, you can go ahead. And I did not, and I kept the door just to keep keep the neighborhood happy with the door. But when it comes to the awning, it's a safety hazard. I cannot, I have to make sure I protect the customers that are walking inside the space. That's it.
Well,
but I'm flexible.
I strongly recommend either you work it out with the right thing, or we will be forced to go in that direction. But meanwhile, I'm going to support your application because I don't find nothing that impede in the process. Thank you.
Okay, so the motion is to approve, and that's really, I stand corrected. Thanks, Marco. We are only dealing with the SLA applications, not the building site or historic or landmark or anything. That's another department. Okay, so the motion is to approve. Barry, you have a question before we
call the question.
Thanks, Barry. If you're voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, raise your hand. Otherwise, Barry, you've only do it once, Barry. Okay. So this will go down as a unanimous vote for approval. Thanks, Michel.
And those voting on this were Cause, Marco, Barbara Rudder, Barry Schneider, Evan, and Mrs. Brown.
So what do we have? 4 on all of them?
6.
Oh, okay. I won't put any tallies. You'll send that to me. Thanks, Will. What do we have next? American Pizza, are they around? Did
American Pizza, that is Matthew. Go ahead and unmute Matthew.
Okay, hi. Yeah, it's Matt Leone again for American Pizza, and I think Rob Girola is on. He's the managing principal.
Okay, you want to tell us a bit about it and the application and everything?
Yeah, sure. So it's for a full liquor license. This location was formerly it's been a bar and restaurant for a number of years. It was formerly the Spotted Dog. Rob Girola is planning on operating a very similar operation. He is looking for he plans to be open 7 days a week. The hours that he's looking for is from noon until 4 a.m., 7 days a week. There's a letter of no objection for the space for 74 people. The premises will have 6 tables and 24 seats inside. The bar will seat between 14 and 16 patrons, and there's a small counter in the front that would seat an additional 4 people. And he plans on having a one pool table towards the rear of the premises. He does plan on having a small outdoor area in the front along the adjacent to the building. There would be 3 2-seater tables, so it would be 3 tables with a total of 6 seats. He plans on having recorded music. I think in the packet I had indicated that there would be live music, but I've spoken to Rob about that, and he said no, that there will be no live music. So if that was a concern, and he's happy to stipulate to that, but so that there won't be any live music. He would like the opportunity to have some karaoke, maybe on occasion, just have an occasional karaoke night. Let me see. The menu will be a very similar menu that the previous place had. He's still working on it, so I don't have a copy for you tonight. But it is, it's basically going to be standard pub fare, and then hopefully, if the place is able to sustain itself and be profitable, then I think there's the idea of trying to build up a little bit more of a sophisticated menu, because there is a full kitchen back there, and he'd have the means to do that, to expand on the menu. Let me see what else he has a number of years experience in the bar and restaurant industry, and so I think that's mainly that's the rundown of the plan. And Mr. Girola is here, and he can address any other issues or questions that you may have.
Okay, Judy.
Judy, go ahead and unmute. And if you're Mr. Girola, the applicant, you just use the raise hand feature found under the reactions button at the bottom of your screen so I can find you, because I do not see him. Go ahead, Judy. You're unmuted.
Yes, I have a number of questions. You said pub fare. So my first confusion is the name of this place is American Pizza. So I expected it to be a pizza place.
No, I'm sorry. It's not a pizza place. There may be some pizza on the menu, but it's not a pizza place at all. It's just going to be a small neighborhood bar. The name, the corporate name, I think the corporation was already in existence I think they were doing some like pop-up pizza, but the corporation or the LLC was already in existence. So rather than form a new corporation, they just decided to use the corporation.
Okay, but the name of the restaurant might be different than American's Pizza. Is that right when you open?
Oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely. It'll be.
Okay, just wanted to understand that.
Yep.
Then my next question is, there are windows in the front that the prior owner had opened at times.
Yes.
You're talking about karaoke music and being opened until 4 a.m, which I find on that block being opened until 4 a.m. could be pose quite a problem. That's a residential block. Number one, what are you doing about the windows? And certainly if they're going to be open, I don't think there should be any karaoke at all. That's my opinion as a resident.
Right. So the windows I know would definitely be closed much earlier, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, like that.
Yes, but if you're having karaoke, I think the windows need to be closed. I mean, if you start at 8, 9 o'clock with karaoke, you can't have the windows open out onto the street because it's just not fair to the community. So maybe because that's a stipulation that you could make about the windows.
Windows close at 10 o'clock. 7
Yeah,
nights.
but if they're having karaoke starting at 8 o'clock, they can't have the windows open. That's not fair to have that out onto the street. It's just not. And my last question is about the tables. Are they the small little tables that would be right up against the building? You said there'll be 3 with 2 seats each?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly.
Because that's also a very narrow sidewalk there. So if they're right up against the building, I don't have a problem. But I do have a problem with the hours and the fact that the windows could be open when there's karaoke or any kind of loud music. Just not fair to the community. And also, can you tell me what your percentage of food and liquor is?
I mean, I think it's roughly.
You've put down 50-50.
Yeah, right. That's why I said I think roughly it was going to be a 50-50, although again, at this point, it's a little bit of a rough estimate, and I think they would be happy to actually do more food than the 50-50. If you know,
Okay, so that to me sounds more like a bar than a restaurant. So my only other suggestion would be that I do wish you well, I wish everybody well in these circumstances, and we want more businesses to open, that you will have somebody outside at night if it gets congestive or noisy or people walk out with a drink or whatever, that the owner, Mr. Girola, will take that into consideration. We certainly welcome you to the neighborhood, but these are just some concerns we've seen in the past.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure Mr. Girola, will be happy to, to do that and to take any steps that he needs to ensure that the place, isn't noisy and isn't a problem for the neighbors, for the building or for the neighborhood. Is he on, by the way? Is Rob, are you on?
If he is, turn on your camera and wave at me or do something, because I do not see you.
You mentioned with the windows, if we can have them closed by 10 p.m. every night, but if they can be closed when the karaoke is on to minimize the noise outside, if that's agreeable.
I'm sure it is. I'm getting text messages from Mr. Girola now. So let me see. Just getting back to the previous question. He says if it's even a concern that he's happy, he doesn't have to have karaoke at all.
Okay. So the windows will be closed by 10 p.m. regardless. Okay. Now, you mentioned tables on the street.
Yes.
How wide is the sidewalk there?
So, it's a good question. I don't have the measurements. What I do know is that the previous place actually had a small unenclosed sidewalk cafe permit for 4 tables with 8 seats. But Mr. Girola is really just interested in doing the small 2-seat tables up against the building.
Well, regardless of the number of seats you want, there must be 8-foot clearance from curb to table. So if there's no 8-foot clearance, there will be no tables, correct?
Yes, absolutely. I think you are correct. And I'm just making the assumption for now, only because the previous place did have
right.
a unenclosed sidewalk cafe. So I'm assuming that there is the required space. If it turns out that there's not, then he wouldn't be able to have the table.
Okay. And the 4 o'clock, 4 a.m., 7 nights a week is a bit problematic for some of us. Any ideas?
Well, again, I think he really is looking, he would like to have at least the opportunity to be open until 4 o'clock. Again, it doesn't mean that he'll for sure will stay open until 4 o'clock on a Sunday or a Monday or a Tuesday night. But I think for the time being that opportunity is important to him and to the business to be able to on days where there is some business and there are customers who are out. It affords the business an opportunity to make some money, to try to be a viable business. At a time where it's not as sure of a thing as it used to be, where you open up a bar and it's 4 o'clock and you're going to have people. So I think he's trying to just give himself the best chance that he can to make sure that he stays in business. But obviously, we do understand that 4 o'clock, it is a concern, that it can be a concern. My understanding is, and again, I don't have documents for it, but my understanding is that the previous place had done soundproofing, and that noise was not an issue in the building. Although, if there are people from the building or the neighborhood who have information, we're of course happy to hear about it.
Okay. Would he be willing to reduce Sunday to Thursday till say 2 o'clock?
I'm sure he can hear, but I believe he would be. But let me just send him a quick text.
I mean, Sunday to Thursday, I'm sure 4 o'clock there may be some people, but I mean, just to be on the safe side for the public and for the people in the area.
Right, and Friday and Saturday, 4 p.m., 4 a.m. I mean.
Yeah, that's Friday, Saturday, well, maybe even Thursday, Friday, Saturday could be. But Sunday to Thursday, that's. I mean, as I said before, we can suggest, we can't stipulate, what you should or shouldn't do. That's finally up to you.
Right. Yeah. No. I just want to relay it to him and let him say, let him answer, because that's really, that's really a business decision for him.
Right.
Thursday. No. What the?
Well, in the meantime, Marco, you have a question?
Judy, were you done?
No, I just
Oh.
want to bring up to Kaz, if there's any way to check, because just a couple of doors down, and they were originally owned by the same people, is the former Baker Street. The Spotted Dog and Baker Street were owned by the same people. Baker Street came to us as the irregulars. We heard it a few months ago, and we gave them, I think, specific hours. Why wouldn't, since they're right near one another, why wouldn't we give them the same hours? I don't remember what the hours were that we gave to irregulars.
Yeah,
So
I don't
that might
remember.
be something you want to check. I don't know, Will, if that's something you have the ability to check now.
Well, it's normally Sunday through Thursday that we reduce till about 2. The others, Friday and Saturday, normally, we give them more flexibility. Okay, we'll find that out. Any other questions, Judy?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Marco?
Thank you, Cos. I think if you don't want to have a stipulation to close at 2 o'clock, those days that Cos mentioned, I think I got to go for disapproval of this application, because I understand your business, especially that very good business from Friday and Saturday. But the other days, I don't think you have a lot of people. And to close at 2, I don't think is unreasonable. And if you or the owner, I think, is looking at this conversation of this meeting, is listening, it's better to text, because I'm going to say no if you don't put it at 2 o'clock, the dates that already mentioned. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Brown. Can we unmute Mrs. Brown?
Yes, he just unmuted me. Thank you, Claude. I have difficulty with the hours. And I cannot even support 2 a.m. I just think that's just a little too late, too much. And 4 a.m. is out of the question. So whatever stipulation you put in there, the hours have to be less. We have to respect the community and the needs of the community. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Mrs. Brown. Barry?
I'm trying to unmute. Okay, there we go. Thank you. I'm troubled by this whole presentation. The owner can't get on. The owner doesn't have a name for the restaurant, doesn't have a menu for the restaurant. The drawing that we saw in the application was hand done by an 8-year-old, I think. All in all, this is a very disappointing presentation. And I'd like to suggest to the attorney that he come back in September when you have a real presentation, the name, a menu, a proper diagram of the space, and can answer questions that we've raised about the karaoke, for example, about the window closing, about the hours. I think we're getting way ahead of ourselves if we continue this application this evening.
Would you be willing to come back to us in September with all the proper document, or the, as Barry's, the documentation that Barry's asking for, and if we can get the owner on to answer some questions, because we're kind of,
Sure. Well, look, as far as the owner getting on, I mean, that's something I'm hoping that we could still get done today. Again, if there's a little bit of time, I don't know why he's not on or why he's not able to join the meeting. But in terms of the windows, so the windows, yeah, can be closed by 10 p.m. Karaoke, it's not a problem. We'll stipulate. He texted me. Karaoke is not part of the plan, so that can easily be stipulated too. The diagram is really just, again, by the way, I did. I hand drew the diagram. It was just to give you the layout of the place. we got this notice, I mean, not, one day last week, and I met with the client on Thursday night and tried to get all of the documentation to you in order to, to be in compliance for this meeting. So, I'm sorry that the diagram itself was only handwritten, not up to not up to your standards. But it's whether it's drawn, hand drawn, or drawn in another way, it's going to show the same thing. It's the tables, it's the chairs, it's the kitchen, it's the bar where the bathrooms are, the pool table, and that's it. So to put this over until September, I mean, and the menu, we can have a menu. We can have a menu tomorrow. If you want a different drawing, we can have that tomorrow. To put it over for 2 months, I think it's, I think it's long, but I understand the concerns. But in terms of the diagram and the menu, I don't think we need to put it over for 2 months for that.
Well, I think the biggest stumbling block is the hours.
Right, the hours, and I think we can resolve that today. Right,
well,
if we can take a break, I'll call.
Why don't you try and get him on so we can answer and we can postpone this? We can go on to some other ones.
Okay.
Is that okay? Okay.
I mean, it's fine with me, and I'm sure we can resolve the hour. I'm sure we can resolve that issue today.
Okay. Okay, so let's wait for the owner to get on. Is that okay, Mrs. Brown? Or did you have another question?
I can wait until the owner gets on, but if the owner is unable to get on, then I would suggest that we follow Barry's suggestion and wait until September. That will give the owner the opportunity to do a proper presentation. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Marco, I assume you've got the same thing. So let's move on to the next one. Did you have a different question, Marco?
No, actually it's the same. The only thing is missing is the decision of the owner of the hours only.
Right, okay. What are we up to? 1E, Serafina, 79th LLC, Bar Penelope. Serafina Management, they're on. Good. Can we, good. Okay. Can you explain to us what's going on there and tell us a bit of what's going on?
Sure. Good evening, everybody, and thank you for having me here. I appreciate it. I'm going to talk about a location called Bar Penelope, located on the corner of 79th and Madison, located at 1022 Madison Avenue. It is a restaurant that's approximately 50% food, 50% drinks. The restaurant itself will have a total of approximately 16 seats on the interior and 14 seats on the exterior on the sidewalk cafe with an 8-foot space walking for the sidewalk itself. There will be music, but only internal music for the place. We are looking for an internal liquor license for the property. The operating hours are 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Sunday. We have 3 other properties next door. We have one directly next door. It's Serafina and 79th over there. We have a location at Farinella, our pizza shop on Lexington and 79th. And we have a location right down the road at Serafina and 61st Street. Today, I just want to tell you a little about the property. The menu is going to be basically a Roman-style cafe. We'll be serving pastries and small bites and sweets, cappuccinos, espressos in the mornings, a small focus menu of bar bites, some small sandwiches, paninis, toasts, some small bar snacks, and salads. But generally just a place you can sit down, have a cup of coffee or a very small, elegant drink. Outside, hopefully during the nice season, and internally during the week. It'll be a very small facility, about 400 square feet internally, but we are looking to add a little bit more to the neighborhood that we spent 26 years in right next door.
Is this the one on the corner?
This is correct. This is Nectar, the former restaurant, the diner Nectar right there. So we took the corner spaces there.
So you're going to have seats on 79th, not on Madison.
That is correct. There's not enough space on 79th in front.
Yeah.
There's not coughing, so we know that for a fact because we have our property right next door. But on the opposite end, yes, we will.
And are you going to be putting a street shed or not?
To be honest, we're not sure yet. The laws keep changing every day with street parking. As I've noticed with the 13 other properties we have in New York, especially on these streets, we'd have to get some kind of professional opinion on it. Yes, theoretically, we're allowed to, but we're not sure if we're allowed to anymore because they keep changing on a day-to-day basis. But it won't be anything too large. At most, you're looking at probably, if we can't get it, you're probably looking at 4 or 5 tables, but nothing too egregious and nothing too aggressive. We want to stay within the elegance of the neighborhood and the style and the kind of grace of this particular Roman cafe we're going for. So very demure, very subtle. It's meant for the neighborhood to have small drink and relax and kind of hang out outside.
Okay. John's again. Can we unmute John?
Hi, thanks for coming and talking tonight. My question may just be based on ignorance of the terminology, but I believe you said that you were looking for an internal liquor license.
Well, my apologies. That was my verbiage. Yeah, a liquor license in general for outdoor and indoor service.
Okay, cool. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you, John. I apologize about that.
That's quite okay. Any other, Marco?
Thank you. I do not have a problem inside. I think it's a restaurant. I think it's a very good restaurant. As you mentioned, there are many others. Yes, I've been in the other ones. And that's another problem. The problem that what I found is because of these regulations of DOT, you are allowed to have the liquor, the tables on the 79th Street, because 79th Street is completely residential. It shouldn't have no commercial use at all. So, and that's my concern on. What is the situation? I know right now, DOT is not binded to that regulation right now, but in the future it will. And if you still have your liquor license, that made me concerned that you're gonna claim that you're gonna have the tables on 79th Street.
Well, didn't Nectar have tables on 79th before?
So prior, it had a sidewalk cafe license that allowed for 7 deuces.
Oh, they have a sidewalk cafe. Okay,
yes,
so I don't know how a problem. Yes, I would like to recommend to approve this application. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Is that a motion to approve, Marco?
Yes.
Barry?
Yes, you got it.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. We look forward to joining the neighborhood. We really do.
Good. Okay, so the motion is to approve. If anybody is abstaining, voting no, or not voting for cause, raise your hand. And I assume, Marco, you go. Thank you. Okay, seeing no hands, this will go down as unanimous approval.
And the members still in attendance are Cos, Barbara Rudder, Barry, Marco, and Mrs. Brown.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
What do we have next?
Margaritas.
Serafina Margarita Yorkville is the applicant here. When it's your turn to come up, when we call you, if you can raise your virtual hand, that way it will save us a lot of time. Okay, we have NT.
Okay. Hi.
NT, is that not tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear us?
No,
yes.
For Nihal.
Yeah, it's Neil. It's Neil Trivedi. I'm a representative for this applicant. The name of the applicant is Margaritas Yorkville LLC. Rokia Baker Bustos is the applicant's member of the LLC. It's basically a restaurant that we're looking to open at 1619 York Avenue. It's a Mexican restaurant, and we're applying for a beer, wine, and liquor for an on-premise liquor license. Again, it's for a restaurant. The hours of the operation will be Monday through Thursday, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Fridays as well, and then 11 to 11 on Saturday and 11 to 10 on Sundays. Primary is going to be for food and then, drinks as well. There's going to be tables and chairs. Approximately, I think it's going to be around 30 chairs. Give me 1 second on that. There is a bar, but we're not going to have any seats at the bar. Yeah, number of tables is 10. Number of seats at the table total is 32. So I see here, okay, number of people served, so it says 32 people. Ambience, music in the background, nothing loud, no type of any kind of event or promoters or anything like that. Basically, we have the menu there as well. And it's between 86th and 86th, 85th and 86th Street. It has a basement, bathroom, kitchen, and a store, you know, and a restaurant storefront.
Okay. Are you going to be applying for outdoor space, or you're going to be putting any tables or chairs out there?
Not initially. We're gonna see how it gets played out, and then maybe we'll put something. I was there last Thursday because of this application. I did not know if there was enough space there.
So you will conform to the 8-foot clearance or 50% of the sidewalk?
Yes,
Okay.
I wasn't sure about the space.
Yep. Okay. Marco, oh, sorry, John again.
Hi, no questions. Just want to say I live a block and a half away, and I would love to have a place to get margaritas around the corner. So I hope you guys get through this, and looking forward to coming in and being a regular.
Okay, thank you so much.
Marco, is that a motion to approve, Marco?
Yeah, motion to approve. I know very well the location. I mean, you will be in competition of Arturo's, and that will be probably they're not gonna be happy then. And also you will be with the corner with the Irish or British pub. You will be in serious competition, but I wish the best. And I think this is a very place. And to put outside, yes, you can do that. As a matter of fact, Arturo's did, and he removed and they put on the street. And well, whatever it is, you have to be in compliance with the handicap accessible. And I wish the best. I mean, it's fine. Thank you.
Okay, Barry.
Thank you so much.
Okay, the motion is to approve the application. If you're voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, please raise your hand. And I assume Marco, thanks, Marco. Seeing no hands, this will go down as a unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
That's the same 5 as last time.
Thanks, Will. Are we back to American Pizza yet, or? Well, anyway, let's when they get they'll let us know.
I think we may have finally found the person, but he needs to unmute. If he is, try that again. Only press it once. Nope. Try to press the unmute button one more time.
Okay, let's go to 30-day notice 2A. Oda House, 30-day waiver and renewal. Is the applicant for Oda House, is that Lasha?
Go ahead and unmute, Lasha.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah,
so what's with the 30-day notice and the renewal?
Yeah, so we missed the date. We never got the letter, and we missed the date. We noticed that before the end of the license, and we filed 30-day waiver. We got approved. We got the license back. So that's why we had to do it, basically.
So it was a matter. So nothing has changed, hasn't it?
Nothing has changed. No.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fine. Marco, motion to approve. Can we unmute? Oh, thanks, Marco.
Thank you. Motion to disapprove. I'm sorry. Motion to approve. Motion to approve. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Marco. Barry, second, I assume, will call the question.
Yes, call the question.
Okay. Marco and Barry, put your hands down. This is motion to approve 30 days the renewal notice. If you're voting no, abstaining or not voting for cause, raise your hand. Otherwise, this will go down as unanimous. And not seeing hands, this will go down as unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, to be or not to be, 1372 First Avenue Wine Bar Corp, DBA Vanguard. Sarah DeVito.
Go ahead, and
Okay. Yep, you're unmuted.
Hi, I'm Stefan Mailvagnum. I'm the owner of Vanguard Wine Bar.
Okay, so what's with the 30-day and the renewal?
Well, the license expired last year, and I sent the renewal application in, and it stayed there longer than the period they allow. I think it was over 270 days that it was stuck in renewals, and they needed it a new 30-day notice, basically. So we had planned on opening, and this kind of just came up. So they had suggested that we get a waiver from the community board.
Okay, but are you renewing, or is this for a new renewal also?
It's a renewal, yes.
Okay, so nothing's changed from when you applied last, and so it's welcome to the SLA. Marco, I assume it's to motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
And Barry, call the question.
Call the question.
Okay, if you're voting, this is motion to approve. If you're voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, raise your hand. Otherwise, this will go down as a unanimous also. No hands. Okay, thank you very much. 2B will be unanimous.
Thank you.
Same
And
file.
2C, Ahana Japanese Fusion Cuisine, 1154 First Avenue, middle store between 63 and 64. 30-day waiver and renewal again.
Vince, you're going to go ahead and mute, and cause the last vote was the same 5 as the previous ones.
Yep, thanks, Will.
Hi, how's it going?
So what's with the 30-day notice and the renewal?
Okay, so the landlord was in the process of selling the building, and they were going to kick our tenants out. And the deal didn't go through as of June 25th, and our liquor license renewal was June 30th. Hence the 30-day renewal, the waiver.
So you're staying there and you just renewing?
Yes, we just renewed the lease, and the clients are going to stay there.
Okay. These renewals in 30 days. Okay, who do we have? Judy. Sorry, Marco, you've got to wait. Thanks, Judy.
Sorry, Marco. I just want to say they've been in the neighborhood for 9 years. Good neighbors, no problems. So please, this is certainly someone we would support. They would be right next door to the American Pie place that we're waiting to hear from the owner. Okay, there was some confusion about the posting because they're both have the same schooling number, but certainly good people to have in the neighborhood, and please support them.
Thanks, Judy. Marco, motion to approve.
Motion to disapprove. No. Motion to approve. I mean, everything is a rule.
Yeah.
We don't have nothing to discuss.
And Barry's calling the question.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Yes, yeah, Barry calls the question.
Okay, Marco and Barry, lower your hand, please. If you're voting no, abstaining or not voting for cause on this, 2C, raise your hand. Not seeing any hands. This will go down as unanimous also. Okay, thank you very much. And that's the same count, Will. And do we have the pizza again?
Okay, I'm going to try this. Try to unmute yourself, whoever you are. Try to unmute yourself. Only hit it once.
Calm down, Will.
Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
So is the owner available to answer some questions, or are we going to wait till September?
Well, I did speak to him in terms of the hours. Yeah, that were discussed, the 2 a.m. And 4 a.m. Friday, Saturday, and 2 a.m. the other days of the week. That he's fine with that. If so I spoke to him about that, and the windows we already spoke about would be closed by 10 o'clock. I don't know if there's if there were any other issues. And yeah, I know, a menu, I could give you we could get you a menu tomorrow. It will be very similar, if not, it would be very similar to the menu that was there for the previous place. But in terms of the hours, I did speak to him. I have 100% authorization to on his behalf to tell you that he's fine Sunday to Thursday 2 a.m. and Friday, Saturday 4 a.m.
Okay. Marco.
Yeah, I would like to propose a motion and then to speak. The motion is to approve with the stipulations.
Okay.
Anybody can second?
Yeah, I'll second that for now.
Okay, so I think it's reasonable where we asking and you give it to us, and I think I wish the best. And if you have a problem, well, we will call you, especially if there are problems in the neighborhood. And welcome to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And I think Rob can hear you. He was giving you a thumbs up. And on his behalf, I would also thank you and the committee.
The committee.
For their time tonight.
Okay, Mrs. Brown.
I cannot support this application. 2 a.m. is just a bit too much for me. And since the owner can't find a way to make a presentation tonight, I cannot support the application. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Brown. Yeah, most of the other applications we would normally give them 2 a.m., unless it's heavily, this is on the avenue and not the side street. So if it was on a side street, we would be more restrictive. But being on the avenue and most other places, I know some have 4 a.m., which we're trying to to get away from.
We discourage the understand, but 2 a.m. for me is a bit too late.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Brown.
It's my age,
We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. This is a motion to approve with the stipulations of Friday and Saturdays 4 a.m. No karaoke. Windows close at 10. Friday and Saturday 4. Sunday to Thursday 2 a.m. If you're voting no, not voting for cause or abstaining, raise your hand. If not, this will go down as unanimous. Mrs. Brown, you're voting no?
Correct. I'm voting no.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And anybody else voting no, abstaining, or not voting for cause? And seeing none, this will go down as a non-unanimous.
Sorry, Cos. Those in favor were you, Cos, Barbara Rudder, Barry Schneider, and Marco Tamayo. Just for the record.
Yep. Any old business?
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good night.
Any old business? Any new business? Anybody have any?
Just one person from the
Judy.
From the people also had another question, so go ahead.
Okay, Judy, you have a question?
Yes, I'll bring up what I brought up before. Will and Kaz, I don't know if you know Kaz, but Will, are we putting anything in our packages to these people who are applying that they must take the notices down after the hearings?
I think we talked about changing the packet that they receive that'll say that, but I'm not sure. I'll have to check with Murat to see if we made that update yet or not.
Okay, if we could do that, and if we could do that on the other committees that post, like transportation and landmarks, on all of them, it would just be a good thing to do, because Barry and I, whenever we're starting to go out now, all we do is spend time ripping things off of lampposts.
Well, let Barry do it. If you do it, it's illegal.
Thank you.
There was a question just from the audience about one of the applications that was on a previous version of the agenda and who did flyer for 344 East 59th Street. That application is actually was incorrectly filed with our office. No, it was incorrectly filed with our office. It is actually located within CB6. So they will have to submit their 30-day notice to CB6 and be heard at their Street Life-esque committee. And so I would just encourage you to check out CB6's website or call their office to see when that item will be on their agenda.
They're on the south side of 50. Okay, that's not us. Sorry. We would love to hear it, but sorry. Anybody else with any old business? In that case, the meeting is adjourned. Thanks everybody for attending, and thanks all the committee members.
Really quickly, before you guys go, the committee members, do you plan to meet in August, or are we going to?
That's up to Abraham. I'm the stand-in for tonight.
Okay, just
I don't think with SLA there's nothing urgent. There's no time limits on anything, so I would assume we wouldn't meet. But, you know, that's my assumption. But, you know, Abraham and Russell would be the final go-to people.
Okay, we'll check with both of them, but I just wanted to see if any of the committee members had any opinions on it before we talk about it.
There's really no time limits on anything, and I don't think there's really anything urgent like there used to be with DCA that we had a time limit. So I don't see any real reason to have a meeting in July.
I agree with Kyle.
In August.
Okay, I'll take that back to Abraham and to Russell.
Okay.
Judy, did you?
She forgot to put her hand down.
Yes, I just want to tell you that the second Tuesday in August is Night Out Against Crime. And Barry and I, for one, will be there. So if you do decide to have a meeting, please change the date from the first Tuesday in August.
Wait, the first Tuesday in August is Night Out, or the second Tuesday is Night
First.
Out? Okay.
First, the 3rd of August.
What was that? Something about crime, Judy?
National Night Out Against Crime. This year it'll be held in John Jay Park.
So are you going out to commit a crime or to stop a crime?
No, we're going out to support our fellow officers of the 19th precinct. And it's really a very nice night. Mary of Maz Mescal usually has food. And
nice.
Ice cream, and there's music, and everybody should come out. It's a really fun night.
And when is it? I'll put it down.
It's the first Tuesday in August, the 3rd.
And where? John Jay?
John Jay Park.
Thanks. Okay. Anybody else?
We're adjourned.
Okay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night.